Hello and welcome to Pedro's Movie Cavern. My name is Pedro. This is my movie cavern, and this is part one of 4. The last videos that I did were look at my top 30 movies from the 1990s. This is going to be my top 40 movies from the 1980s. The reason this is going to be 4 parts is because the last 2 videos were nearly an hour long each, and I looked at 15 movies. So I'm going to be looking at 10 movies per part. So there's obviously going to be 4 parts as there's 40 films to look at. These are, like I said in the last 2 videos, these are subjective. These are films that I personally love myself. You might not love them, but I think there's going to be a lot of crossover because a lot of the movies from the 80s we all love. So this is the first 10. Again, none of these are in any specific order. It is essentially just 40 films from the 1980s that I love. This is the first 10. We're going to kick off with probably one of the most quintessentially nostalgic 80s movies. And it is Richard Donner's fantastically awesome teen adventure movie that no film has ever, or no film or series has ever sort of captured the same sort of feel of this movie, and it is the movie The Goonies, produced by Steven Spielberg and written by Chris Columbus while being directed by Richard Donner. This film is just an absolute blast of a movie. Fantastic young cast in this, which would see Corey Feldman, Sean Astin, Ke Kwan, Jeff Cohen, Josh Brolin. You've also got Joe Pantoliano, Robert Davi, and what's her name that played Ma Fratelli? Anne Ramsey, I think it is. Anne Ramsey? Possibly. Also, amazing score by Dave Grusin. Has that full-on adventure feel to it that gets you pumped. It's almost a bit like Indiana Jones in a way. Some of the little traps in the caves before they find the One-Eye Willie's ship is very reminiscent of more or less like Temple of Doom than Raiders of the Lost Ark. But oh my god, this movie is so much fun. I watch this at least once a year, and every time I watch it I thoroughly enjoy it. There's a hanging scene in this, which I'm guessing is the opening with Robert Davi on the window bars of the prison. Which is why it's apparently gotten a 12 certificate now, even though throughout my entire childhood it was a PG. I guess everyone's just too much of a soft, just absolute pansy these days to watch a movie and think, oh, Robert Davi, he hung himself. No, he didn't. It's a pipe. Watch the movie. Reclassifying The Goonies from a PG to a 12 just fucking boggles my mind. But yeah, absolutely adore The Goonies. Like I said, no other film or television series has ever come close to capturing the same sort of feel as The Goonies. They tried it with Stranger Things. They also tried it with Summer of '84 with what's it called? I watched it. It's a McG movie. It's awful. It's a science fiction film. End of the World or something like that. Top of the World, I think it was called. It was an alien invasion film that was really bad. But they tried to capture that same sort of spirit of adventure and failed miserably, even though it was set to a fantastic score by Bear McCreary. Camp at the Edge of the World or something like that. I can't remember now. But yeah, The Goonies, it's just The Goonies, man. Everybody fucking loves it. Then a big jump from childhood style adventure to horror comedy with Sam Raimi's follow-up to his breakout sort of controversial film debut, Evil Dead in 1980, I believe it was, and it is The Evil Dead 2, which is a sort of remake slash sequel reboot rights issue thing, I believe it was, which sees Ash return to the cabin. Don't know why he would return to the cabin. It makes no fucking sense. However, this sort of gives us modern Ash, how we know Ash through Army of Darkness and Ash vs. Evil Dead. The Bruce Campbell persona, because the Bruce Campbell persona from the first Evil Dead is very different to what came after this, but this film I absolutely adore. It was one of the first proper like horror films that I ever saw. I think the first horror film I ever saw was The Lost Boys, and then I followed that up with like what was it, Nightmare on Elm Street, and like Dawn of the Dead. But Evil Dead 2 was literally like the first proper horror film I ever saw, and it makes me sad that this is now classed again as a 15. It's been reclassified from an 18 to a 15. Makes I say it doesn't make any sense. It does make sense because it's not really that bad. There is a lot of gore in it, but it's comical gore, so it's so over the top that you can't take it serious. Unlike the first film, which again, even the first film's not even that gory. But obviously, because of a certain scene, including tree that has tree branches, you can't really make that a 15 because it does sort of like linger on that sequence. But Evil Dead 2, yeah, amazing. Love this movie. Ash versus his hand. Ash in the shed with the headless girlfriend on a stick, and he's got the chainsaw. Yeah, it's great. It's where the groovy came from as well. Groovy. I just love Evil Dead 2. Yeah. What else can I say about Evil Dead 2? It's awesome. Then we move to back to sort of another family-friendly movie. This is having its 40th anniversary this year. It's a film that I don't know a single person that dislikes this movie. And this is a film that I love. My brother loves it. My sister loves it. It was a film we grew up with. This is the 30th anniversary edition. So this came out 10 years ago. And now we're on the 40th. And this is the 4K as well. So it shows how long that 4K has been out and about. So this is a film directed by... my brain is broken. Directed by Jim Henson. There we go. I couldn't find it on the back. I knew it was Jim Henson. Written by Terry Jones of Monty Python fame, and featuring David Bowie as Jareth the Goblin King. It is the phenomenally fun Labyrinth. Fantastic movie again. Great soundtrack by David Bowie. Just Jennifer Connelly. Young Jennifer Connelly. This, I think, was like the second film she did after Once Upon a Time in America. I'm not 100% sure. But she plays a 16-year-old Sarah, who wishes her baby brother to be taken away by the Goblin King, as you do when you're a 16-year-old girl and you don't want to be babysitting your annoying baby brother. So she asks the Goblin King to take her baby away, or take her baby brother away, and unfortunately he does, and then shows up in her bedroom and says, "If you want your baby brother back, you must navigate your way through my labyrinth." And yeah, it's really cool. What I really love about this is like the throwaway characters. Like there's a little character in it. There's like a little worm or whatever. Is it a worm? I'm guessing he's a worm. That Sarah runs into when she first enters the labyrinth, and it's just like, "Hello, want to come in, meet the missus?" I just love it. It's got such a Python-esque tone to it that it could only be written by one of the Monty Python crew. But yeah, fantastic, great soundtrack. Like I said, the songs by David Bowie are phenomenal, especially Magic Dance and chili down, just great. Also, you get really good characters like Ludo, Hoggle, and you get the hands that talk. I can't do it. You get the door knockers as well, and the little goblins that keep changing the floor stones to change the direction that Sarah's going. Yeah, it's just it's Labyrinth. What can I say? Labyrinth is amazing. Again, now we do another 180 turn from Labyrinth to probably one of the greatest action movies ever made, and it is the movie The Road Warrior, directed by George Miller, starring Mel Gibson. This is essentially Mad Max 2. Well, I say essentially Mad Max 2. It is Mad Max 2, but it's also known as The Road Warrior. Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. This film sees Max, now a wanderer in the wasteland, with his V8 Interceptor, the last of the V8s, on the back roads of a desolate Australia, looking for gasoline, or guzzling as they call it in that. Takes place about 5 years after the end of the first Mad Max movie, where between those, within those intervening years, there's been a nuclear exchange because of the oil wars that were talked about in the first film, and how society has collapsed, and one government and this government, and sort of humanity, or the survivors of the end of the world, I guess, has sort of delved into, or developed, or devolved into barbaric clans and people, survivors trying to keep precious materials safe. So in like the community, especially in this film, you've got the oil rig community, who then come up against Lord Humongous and his group of sadistic S&M style biker gang. It's very of the time. However, the action sequences in Mad Max 2, or The Road Warrior, are insane. I don't think anyone had ever seen anything like this on the scale of what was in Mad Max 2 prior to this. Yeah, there've been scenes like maybe something like Convoy, or Crazy Larry and Dirty Mary, but these are more car chasey type of stuff. This is a huge multi-vehicle tanker chase, and it's phenomenal. I love this movie. Music is by Brian May, not the Brian May from Queen, but the film composer Brian May, and it's awesome. Mel Gibson is great in this, as is Vernon Wells as Wes, the psychotic biker guy with the pink mohawk, or the mohawk. You've got Lord Humongous, who looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but with a Jason Voorhees style hockey mask. It's just great. Like, you have to watch this. Bruce Spence plays the gyro captain in this, who also then appears in Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome as Jebediah, I guess you could say, but he's not the same character, although he is the same character. It's a very odd one. The Mad Max universe timeline is a bit of a mismatch, unfortunately. But yeah, The Road Warrior, phenomenal movie. Absolutely adore that film. Excuse me a sec while I have a drink. So then that leads us to a film. Again, this has been reclassified from a PG to a 15, which I've only just realised, looking at the box for this. This is a film, if you're from the UK, you will know that this film was on every single Christmas, possibly every single Easter as well. It was usually on Channel 4 in the mornings. And it is a absolutely insane movie. Definitely keeps the comic book aesthetic that this film is actually sort of based on, and it's Mike Hodges' utterly fantastically bonkers 1980 comic book adaptation, Flash Gordon, starring Sam J. Jones, as the eponymous Flash. You've got Melody Anderson as Dale Arden, T'Pol as Dr. Zarkov, and a fantastically over-the-top. I say over-the-top, like, not necessarily over-the-top. However, it's very theatrical. A very theatrical performance by Max von Sydow as Ming the Merciless, the big evil of the Flash Gordon universe. But throw into the mix, you also have Brian Blessed. You have Timothy Dalton in a pre-James Bond role. You also get Richard O'Brien, hot off the success of Rocky Horror. Maybe not so much Shock Treatment. And again, pre The Crystal Maze. Who else is in this? Oh God, I can't remember her name now. You got Peter Wingard as Clytus, Ming's right-hand man. Melody Anderson. Ornella Muti as Ming's daughter. It's just such a great movie, and it's like, it's made even better by the fact that Queen did the soundtrack to this. Not just like the songs, but like the score. I believe the majority of the score was also done by Queen. Music composed, performed, and produced by Queen. But what I love about Flash Gordon is the production design on this film is insane. Like the colors that were used, the sort of weird like, matte paintings, the clouds in the sky, everything about Mongo, the planet that Flash, Dale, and Zarkov find themselves landing on at the beginning, is just out of this world bonkers, and it's such a gorgeous movie. And this 4K, this is the Studio Canal 4K release, is absolutely stunning. I don't know why it's been reclassified though as a 15. Maybe it's something to do. Maybe there's other stuff on there, or like I don't know. Maybe it's because I believe it's got. Does it have the documentary? That's why. Yeah, there we go. So it's got the reason it's being reclassified is because it's got the documentary Life After Flash, which looks at Sam Jones's life post Flash Gordon and what he's doing now. But yeah, I love Flash Gordon. So good. Flash Gordon's alive. Just a phenomenal 80s sci-fi movie. Just so much fun. Then another sci-fi film, and I love this movie. I've talked about this movie countless times. It is one of my favorite 80s movies, and I love it. I love it. It is The Last Starfighter from director Nick Castle, who, if you don't know, also wrote and directed a film called The Boy Who Could Fly, which came out, I believe, the year after this, or maybe 2 years after this. But a lot of people kind of know Nick Castle as a prominent John Carpenter collaborator. Castle was also the original man behind the mask as Michael Myers in the first Halloween movie. But he, in his own right, is a great writer and great director. And he came and he directed this film, The Last Starfighter, about probably like a 18, 19-year-old who lives at a trailer park and does like handy jobs around the trailer park. And he's going out with Catherine Mary Stewart's character, who also lives in the trailer park. And up on the top by where like the communal area is, they have an arcade machine. And the main character, Alex, played by Lance Guest, just plays it all the time. But it turns out that he's actually really fucking good at it. But it turns out that the machine itself is actually a recruitment tool from an interstellar army. I can't remember where. Oh my god, I'm having a complete brain meltdown. Basically, it turns out it's a recruitment tool to recruit people for an army that is at war deep within deep space, and it was put there by a man called Centauri, sorry, not Centurion, Centauri, played by Robert Preston, and it turns out that the arcade machine wasn't meant to be delivered to their caravan park, but he's so good at the game, Centauri still takes him to to this massive intergalactic battle where he becomes a pilot of a ship called a Gunstar, where he literally becomes the last starfighter and saves the galaxy, if you know what I mean. I love it. It's so good. Fantastic score as well by Craig Safin. There we go. Couldn't remember his name. Craig Safin did a fantastic score for that as well. So yeah, Last Starfighter. Love it. Then we have I'm just going to show you. It's RoboCop. It's RoboCop. I fucking love RoboCop. Paul Verhoeven from a script by Ed Neumeier and Michael Miner. Verhoeven just nails it. Just knocks it out of the park. Like when you look at like his movies, his sci-fi movies specifically, that are science fiction but also have such deep sort of satire about certain things in them, like specifically RoboCop is all about consumerism, and then you've got Starship Troopers, which was a sort of satire on Nazi Germany and dictatorships and dystopian futures and stuff like that. It's fucking amazing. But RoboCop, yeah, I freaking love RoboCop. It is the story of Alex Murphy, a rookie cop who unfortunately gets gunned down by a gang of thieves and murderers led by Kurtwood Smith, who, if you don't know, plays Red Foreman in That 70s Show. But if you watch this, you'll be like, heh, I know him. That's Red Foreman from That 70s Show. Before he started putting foot in people's asses. But he doesn't completely die. Alex Murphy doesn't completely die. But they are able to rebuild him as RoboCop. The sort of the number one. I don't know how to word it. Basically, he becomes the cop, if you know what I mean. Part man, part machine, all cop. Yeah, it's great. It's great. There's like I said, there's a lot of satire in this about corporations and consumerism. Like, I'd buy that for $1. And how everything is run by corporations. Like, the police are run by OCP, which is, again, another big sort of futuristic corporation. I believe it stands for Omni Consumer Products. But it's, what can I say? It's RoboCop. It's fucking amazing. Great score by Basil Poledouris as well. I believe Ed Neumeier went on and wrote the script for Starship Troopers, which was in the 90s video. But yeah, this is so good. Peter Weller is cracking as Alex Murphy stroke RoboCop. He did the first 2 films, and then Robert John Burke took over for the embarrassingly bad RoboCop 3, directed by Fred Dekker. Yeah, really cool. The second film is really good. I really like the second film. It gets a bad rap, and the Blu-ray looks stunning, by the way, of RoboCop 2. The second film was written by Frank Miller, who, if you don't know who Frank Miller is, Frank Miller sort of reimagined Batman from the 1960s type of just not spoof, but the 1960s type of Batman into what became like modern Batman, the Dark Knight, because he wrote the Dark Knight Returns, I believe was the Dark Knight Returns, which was where Batman sort of kind of reinvented it himself as a masked vigilante, which is really cool. But he wrote a script for, he wrote the script for RoboCop 2 that was massively cut down and sort of edited, because apparently, from what I was reading, the original script for RoboCop 2 was about 300 pages long, and it was just cut and edited and down and stuff. But yeah, the first RoboCop by Paul Verhoeven, amazing movie. Even the dude with the really long arms is fun. And then we move on. We've only got 3 left, and all 3 of these are John Carpenter movies. Can you guess which one's first? No, you can't, because there's 3 of them. We have The Thing, probably one of my favourite horror films of all time. Definitely top 10 movies of all time. Probably say my second favourite horror film of all time, after Dawn of the Dead. But yeah, The Thing, just an incredible movie. Sorry, I'm just reading the back. So, yeah. In a way, it's a remake, but also it's an adaptation. It was the second adaptation. So the original version of the film was The Thing from Another World from 1950, I believe, by Howard Hawks or Howard Hughes. Might be Howard Hawks, I'm not sure. Which was an adaptation of the book, well, the short story Who Goes There by Joseph Campbell, or John W. Campbell, sorry. Who Goes There, which was, it was an adaptation of a short story by John W. Campbell, which came out not that long before was released not that long before the film, the original film, which took the premise of a group of scientists in Antarctica who uncover a alien that then wreaks havoc. The original film takes the idea of the alien and the scientists in the Antarctic and kind of just runs with that premise, whereas the book itself, or the short story itself, is a lot more deeper and a lot more scientific, which kind of goes against the original film's favor. Even though it's a great classic science fiction film, it's not a perfect adaptation. However, John Carpenter's version of The Thing, which omits the alien monster running around killing people in a sort of 1950s style way, and focuses more on what Campbell was doing in the original short story, where it was kind of taking on a host, leads to this, which allows for themes of paranoia and uncertainty and man against man, because no one really knows what it is or who is who, and it's just phenomenal. It not only really creepy and tense, but it also makes you guess then, makes you wonder, well, is MacReady the thing? Is Niles the thing? Is Doc the thing? Is Childs the thing? Which is the is it Childs or is it MacReady? So it gets you guessing throughout the entire movie, while also just having this atmosphere of like dread and like isolation, because they're in the middle of of Antarctica, and like there's nowhere, or the Arctic. There's nowhere for them to run. They can't escape, so they have to defeat this thing where they stand. Otherwise, it could mean the end of the world. And it's just a fucking great, phenomenally well-made movie. It is definitely Carpenter's best film in my opinion, and I think it's Carpenter's best film in Carpenter's opinion as well. But you've got a phenomenal cast in this. I say phenomenal, fantastic cast in this as well, with Kurt Russell, Keith David. Who else is there? There's lots. I'm not going to go through every single person, but it's all offset by an incredible Ennio Morricone score, which was then sort of repurposed, and unused versions of the score were used in Tarantino's Hateful Eight. You've got Bill Lancaster's just incredible score, an incredible script, which every single character has a personality, which really helps when you've got however many characters in a movie, because sometimes you can have a lot of characters in a movie and not all the characters are going to have personality, if you know. Each one's set apart by a certain thing. It's just so fucking good. Kurt Russell's incredible in this as MacReady. Keith David's great in this. But the one thing that makes this stand out against every other horror film from the 1980s, a decade of full-on practical effects, is the fucking practical effects in this movie. It's like the pinnacle of practical visual effects, puppetry, and gore effects, and just having horror effects on screen that can be reacted to. Some of the stuff in this is just incredible. And yeah, it's The Thing. What can I say? I absolutely adore this movie. Our second, I was going to say, it's got extras. Second John Carpenter film is a film which I don't understand why this is an 18. Like I was saying this about Evil Dead 2, how Evil Dead 2 got reclassified from an 18 to a 15. I don't understand how this is an 18. Yeah, it could easily be reclassified as a 15, because there's nothing really in this film that would warrant the age rating. It says contains very strong violence. Does it? But it's John Carpenter's They Live, starring Rowdy Roddy Piper and again Keith David as two men who discover. Well, I say two men. So Rowdy Roddy Piper's character Nada discovers this pair of sunglasses, that when you put it on, kind of reveals hidden messages that are around the world. So you've seen the Obey sort of not meme, but like the I guess you could say it's a meme. The Obey thing. It was used by a graffiti artist by the name of Shepard Fairey, who would put Obey up on billboards and stuff, which was inspired by this movie. Nada finds this box of sunglasses, puts the sunglasses on, and it reveals a sort of hidden world that also shows that the Earth has been invaded by aliens, and the glasses were made to reveal the aliens and these sort of hidden subliminal messages on billboards. It's great. It's funny. It's got a great score by Carpenter. It's got a great central performance by Roddy Piper. It's got perfect support by Keith David and Meg Foster. Screenplay by Frank Armitage, who is actually John Carpenter. He's used that name quite a few times. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It feels unfortunately, I think towards the end of the movie, it feels slightly rushed. I think the ending itself is slightly rushed. But other than that, the build-up to everything is just a lot of fun. There is a 15-minute fight scene or 11-minute fight scene between Keith David and Roddy Piper that just goes on and on and on, and was parodied in South Park, where they animated the fight almost shot for shot to the movie. And yeah, it's just great. It's They Live. Dum 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 dum. And then we come to the final film in this first part, this first 10 movies, and it is the awesome action adventure. How do you say it? Well, it's a John Carpenter. Again, it's a John Carpenter movie. I told you the last three were going to be John Carpenter films. It is Escape from New York, starring Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken, a criminal who is captured and forced to enter New York, which has now become a sort of, not battleground, but is it a prison? I guess you can say it's not a prison, but it's kind of the last place you want to be. New York has sort of become its own place. Like, it's not a part of America anymore. It's like a lawless land. He's sent to New York to rescue the president, who has whose plane kind of got shot down, I guess, over New York, and he gets captured by the gangs there, and he meets up with multiple different people. One being Isaac Hayes, the other being Ernest Borgnine, and a female by the name of Adrienne Barbeau. Sorry, there you go. And it's a lot of fun. Again, like I said, it's 80s Carpenter. Carpenter did no wrong in the 1980s. Nailed every single film that he did. Kurt Russell's fantastic as the iconic Snake Plissken. He would show up again in 1996 in the sequel, Escape from LA, which, it's a fun movie. It's not great. However, this movie kind of made Russell like an action movie icon, which he would then show up in like another fantastic Carpenter movie, Big Trouble in Little China, and then Tombstone in the 90s, Breakdown. Just, he never became an action hero, but he's kind of considered within that realm because of this movie. And yeah, Escape from New York is so good. Again, you got another fantastic score by Carpenter. It stars Kurt Russell, Lee Van Cleef, Ernest Borgnine, Donald Pleasance as the president, Isaac Hayes, Susan Hurley, Harry Dean Stanton. There we go. But yeah, it's really cool. I love this movie. So there we go. That is 10 favourite movies of the 80s, part 1. Well, 40 movies of the 80s, part 1. This is the first 10. I will do the next 10 when I get another day off, which I think is Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. And thank you all for watching the last 2 videos. I am sort of back now, so I'm not gonna do content as much as I did before. So you're probably not gonna see any pickup videos. You're not gonna see any weekly watches and stuff like that. I'm just going to focus on movies, using physical media as a way of talking about the films. So thank you everyone for watching the previous 2 videos. This one I was trying to keep shorter, but it's still nearly 40 minutes long, and that's with cutting out 5 movies. So thanks everyone. My name is Pedro. I will see you on the next one. So as usual, I'll give you a salute, throw up the peace sign, tell you that I am out. Cheers everyone. Have a good one. Bye.